Satnam Aloha. So how are you in this now moment? What a week. So I've been trying to upload a video since last Sunday, but each day life brought up some intensity to process and integrate. So I've been having physical clearings all week long. And if you're a normal person, you would call this getting sick, but I call it physical clearings. So all the spiritual lessons were related to this Chiron webinar series that I'm presenting, and it's actually starting next week. So if you're a teacher or a helper bee, have you noticed this yourself? Like as soon as you commit to a workshop or a class or working with a particular person, life quickly throws you into experiences that you need, right, in order to that you learn first so that you're in integrity. Because the true leaders of the Aquarian age, they go through the fires of purification first to have something authentic to share. Otherwise, it's inauthentic. So remember, in the Aquarian age, we now learn by experience, right? So we teach by experience, not by books and not by schooling. So a person who got their master's in psychology and addictions versus a person who never went to school but healed their own addictions, who's going to be the one that can truly help another, right? It's the one with the experience. So the mantra in the Aquarian age is, I know, I just need an experience. So this webinar coming up is on Chiron and the mother wound. So even today, my next door neighbor's dog had a puppy about 2 days ago. We were all really excited about it. And this morning, the puppy died. So I went over to their house to send my, condolences. And the mother dog came down the stairs and was carrying this little dead, limp puppy in her mouth. It must have been about this big, right? Clearly confused and wanting help from we humans. So they told me when they noticed the 2-day pup wasn't moving, they tried to revive it, like put it on their scan, and they were breathing into its mouth. And yeah. So you can imagine how heartbreaking it was to see the mother dog so confused and distressed over her, her dead puppy. So it really touched me at a soul level because we're as vulnerable as a humanity as that dog, right? We really don't have control over life and death. A little flame can come in for 2 days and then it's quickly extinguished. So anyway, these experiences are really still fresh within me and definitely related to this webinar coming up. So this video isn't about a sales pitch for the webinar, so just stick with me. But I want to talk about Chiron because there's lots to share about Chiron. So why is Chiron so important for our evolution into the Aquarian age? Well, it's a visitor to our solar system. It was discovered in 1977, and it's going to be gone when the Aquarian age is fully set in. And it orbits between Saturn and Uranus, so it's really a link between the past, which is Saturn, and the future, which is Uranus. And the future is awakening, right? Uranus rules awakening. It's also a link between the physical and the mental planes of reality. So Chiron's arrow points to the galactic center. This is the 11th gate, which is the city of light. And so this is where all the evolutionary vibrations of light are emanating from as we move closer and closer to the Aquarian age. That's why 2012 is so important, because it was the first time the Earth was in direct alignment with the galactic center. So if you look at the pathway of awareness, right? Let's look at the evolutionary pathway of awareness. Well, we start with the physical development, you can see here, and then we move to the mental development, and now we're moving to the emotional development, right? We've evolved into, like, we can keep our species alive, like physical development, mental development. We've taken as far as we can now. And now we're moving into this emotional development. So this is where the evolution is pointing us towards. It's feeling our way through life, not thinking our way through life anymore. So most people are trapped in the mental plane, but they have no idea that their emotional body is actually driving all of their life choices and causing a lot of suffering. So our emotional body is underdeveloped, right? That's a understatement of the year, right? Our emotional body is underdeveloped. So this is a new part of ourselves that we need to learn and master. So if you look at the evolutionary pathway of awareness, we're going in the opposite direction, right? We're moving from the physical to the mental to the emotional to the infinite and back to our eternal self. So no one gets to the eternal self, our true nature, without moving through the emotional plane. And New Age folks, they want the fluffy, warm, right? They want the saviors to come down and save us. And this is emotional immaturity, spiritual immaturity, right? So we have to walk through this door of the solar plexus to get to the eternal self. And so this is where Chiron can really help us because it provides the key to the emotional body. So this wounding that Chiron symbolizes, and it can be found in your chart, is passed down from your ancestors, right? And the emotional body is your inner child. They're one of the same thing. You talk about the emotional body, you're talking about your inner child. So you're the one who's awake, right? Which means that it's up to you to transmute it, to integrate this wound. Not your ancestors, not your mother, your father, your siblings, but you. So let's talk about the collective wound, right? So Chiron retrograde in Aries, and it's in the shadow of control right now. And this is the 21st gate, and this comes off the ego. And this ego is the center of our willpower. It's part of the channel of sustenance. It's also called the money channel. So the shadows here, the 21 and 45, are domination and control. So this is about the material world. Who controls the resources and who gets them, right? Or we could say whoever controls the money controls the masses. But right now it's moving more and more towards this. Whoever controls the food and the water supply controls the masses. So just a quick, if you bought my 2027 solar plexus mutation, you know that I talk about the cross of planning, and this is breaking down, right? The cross of planning is breaking down. This is our support system, right? Our institutions, they're going away. This tribal consciousness is going away. And it's not a bad thing. This is all part of the greater plan for the age of Aquarius. But the consciousness that's held power, that had that control for thousands of years, is trying to cling and hold on to this power. This is what we're seeing out in the world. So Chiron is showing us, right, humanity's wound. It's about identity. Who are we? Why are we on this planet? What's our true history? What's our story? Because so much has been hidden from us and it's coming more and more into the surface, right? So it's identity. Who are we? But we've been indoctrinated through our educational system. We've been controlled and kept in shadow. We've been in a mental prison. We don't know who we are. And it all starts with words. Words. So when you're a child, you're told what your name is. You're told, well, that's a tree and that's a dog and this is a cat, right? So these words, they limit your reality and your understanding of the world, right? Because a tree is much more than the word tree, right? So it's the separation starts right away with the words that we use. And there's power in words. You're taught how to spell, which keeps you in the spell of the illusionary material world, right? Sleepwalking through life in a trance. Most people live their life that way. You learn to form sentences, sentenced to live in this limited mind prison. You read books, you're booked, right? Throw the book at them, right? You're charged to live in this mind prison. And books are divided into chapters. Chapters delineate time, right? It's a series or a sequence of time, right? It's more illusion, keeps you away from your eternal self and holds you in a five-sense reality. You're told the story of humanity, history. You're told your story. And our educational system is an imposition, right? The true meaning of educate means to draw out the wisdom that's already contained within that person. That's to educate someone. But our system that we grew up in is an imposition, right? It wasn't about drawing out, it was about imposing information. And the best students are the ones that can regurgitate back perfectly what they've been taught. And have you noticed the people that can't really see through the illusions out in the world right now? They're very well educated or indoctrinated by the system, right? They got their 12 years of indoctrination, maybe another 5. And if they got their master's or their PhD, they get even more indoctrination. And we celebrate these people who obey and are good little slaves. And so these people have imprisoned themselves. And they're incredibly arrogant and prideful of this, if you ever talk to an academic. So, but God bless them, right? That's their karma. So let's bring it all together here and look at Chiron in the 21st gate. It's the gift of authority, shadow of control, gift of authority. So notice the word author is in this word authority. So this means who's writing your story? You or someone outside of you? Who's the authority? And the shadow of control and submission is to give your story over to someone outside of you. Here, you write my story for me. You write how my story is going to go. I have no authority, right? I'm a victim here because I've been taught to be a victim. I've been taught to obey. That's what a good slave does, is obey. Doesn't ask any questions, right? I've been taught to obey right from day one that I arrived on this earth plane. So you write with the words, right? We're going to be going in this dystopian future where even my body is not going to be my own. My mind won't be my own. That's already happened. And my body won't be my own. And have you noticed that this parasitic consciousness tells you exactly what they're going to do, right? It's all out there on the internet. You don't have to be a Pulitzer Prize journalist. All you need to get on Google for a minute, and there it all is, right? If you go looking for it. Well, why? Well, it comes back to the spelling. Write it down, right? So that's what they're doing, is writing down. And what are they writing down? It's like one option, one way this timeline can go, right? So how does it manifest then? Well, there needs to be buy-in, right? By everybody on the planet, or the majority of the planet. There needs to be buy-in. So if we give our authority, our authorship, right, to someone else, here's my story, and you're going to write it for me, right? Then it's going to go that way. And if you refuse, right, I'm writing my own story because this is my divine given right. Okay, so nothing happens without buy-in. I want you to know that, right? Nothing happens without buy-in. That's why they have to tell you what they're writing down. They can't make it happen on their own. So in order to get to this place of true self, big S self, authority, inner authority, not outer authority, inner authority, well, in order to do that, you've got to confront the wounds found within the emotional body, right? This is the inner child. So when you stood up for yourself, right, in the past to an outside authority as a child, maybe you stood up for yourself in your family or your school or your religious authority. Children are born with self-esteem, good self-esteem, right? You got knocked down, right? Children should be seen and not heard, right? How dare you speak to me that way? I'm the adult, you're the child, right? So you got beaten down pretty fast, literally and probably figuratively, right? So this is the energy that you've got to face, because those wounds are still in the emotional body, right? So the collective wound right now, if we look at humanity, is our relationship to authority. And that's why so many people are giving their power away, right? Because to not give your power away brings up a lot of uncomfortable feelings from the emotional body, from the unconscious. In the Aquarian age, everything unconscious is being made conscious so that you can see, right? So everything in our unconscious is being projected out into the world, and we're seeing it, right? We're totally seeing it out in the world. And it's the memory. That's all it is a memory. It's not real, it's a memory, right? It's already been experienced from you and your ancestors. And it's the memory of how powerless and small and unprotected we felt as children. Like, look at children, how small they are. And so this is why so many people are looking to a savior, right? So many people looking for a savior. Well, it's the child self looking for an adult. Please come and save me from this trauma that I'm in. Come and protect me. And you've got to remember that you are your own savior. So your only job right now is to awaken to your true eternal self, to the truth of who you are. And it's not easy. I'm not going to lie to you. It takes courage to face that emotional body. It takes courage to face your childhood pain. But this is the doorway in, right? The emotional body, the solar plexus, it's awakening big time right now for evolution. And it's being used against us in order to control the masses. If there wasn't this childhood wounding, people wouldn't be so controlled and so falling for it and gullible, right? So that child is still alive within you. And it doesn't know the difference between what's true and real and what's an illusion. So images even popping up on your computer through mainstream news it scares the inner child. The inner child thinks that it's real, right? Even if something in your direct experience is completely in opposition to the illusion, you'll go with the illusion, right? So that's the default of the child self is I have to obey the adults. I have to obey the adults, the outside authorities to stay safe. So this is the Pied Piper situation, right? So it's really time now for us to grow up and take our authority back because you're in charge of your life and your life is the story, right? You're in charge of authoring your own story. Nobody else. Nobody else. So we can't control our emotional body anymore with addictions and codependency and distractions. This all stops your evolution. It stops you from moving forward because your true wisdom comes from the emotional body, not the mind, right? The mind is all about the intellect. The intellect is not wise whatsoever, right? Your true wisdom comes from the emotional body. And behind that purified emotional body, right, is the healed inner child, right? It's spirit awareness. And this is your eternal self. So interestingly enough here, the Sabian symbol for Chiron right now in Aries is a bomb which failed to explode is now safely hidden from discovery. So the caution here is repressing your emotions or reacting to your life with anger, right? So it's really, I mean, you can start this work now with my inner child program, 6 weeks, right? You can start that right away. Or if you want to dip your toe in, come to my Chiron webinar series, 6-hour webinar series. And this deals specifically with the mother wound. And this is one aspect of the inner child. And this is the mother rules the material world. So you can click the links below in the information box. And I welcome you to this path, to the new human, the human sanctus, right? To keep moving forward and writing your story, right? To this new world that we're all creating together. So please leave your comments below and your thoughts and your insights. We all love reading them. And you can subscribe, like, and share. And you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Telegram, Bitchute, MeWe too. And better yet, sign up for my free newsletter that I put out once a week. And please check out my recorded readings. And I've got live readings now. You can go on the website and check that out. And have a good day or evening wherever you are in the world, and enjoy your life. And please put all your trust in Big G right now. We're at a dividing point. Humanity's dividing. Some are choosing darkness and some are choosing the light. Okay? That's all that's happening right now, is we're in a choice point. All those fence sitters that have been sitting there for years, it's time for you to choose. Okay? So have a great day. Sat Nam Aloha.